Hey guys, Happy New Year! After religiously playing the recent 6v6 mode for 2 weeks, except for Christmas, which I hope yours went great, I've decided to make a tier list of tank synergies with JunkerQueen. This list is obviously a bunch of my own opinions about the tank combos I'll discuss. I'll be focusing more on the fun and the vibe of certain combos than their competitive viability, but I'll still keep that in mind. Starting off with Hazard, and for Hazard, I'll give him an A tier. And well, this combo, from what I've played, is pretty decent on Clash and on some like narrow maps when there are a lot of small choke points, like probably King's Row first point. It's also pretty strong, because when Queen uses her Gracie to pull a target, and when she pulls it, the Hazard can wall off the target behind the corner, which obviously gives a huge opening for an easy kill. And also the Hazard's wall can be used to protect the Queen when she overextends, because, you know, she might be chasing a bunch of targets. And yeah, the wall can be very helpful to sustain Queen when she goes in the open, when she decides to become the main tank, the main initiator for a couple of seconds. Not in this clip though, not in this clip. Forget about that, but you see the damage. This comp has also pretty high amount of damage, a lot of burst damage honestly, 2 shotgun heroes. Hazard has his leap with the slash, he also has his block. Queen has cleave with her axe, she also has a shotgun, she has a Gracie. I mean, honestly, just a pretty strong tank combo, like, and simply just because both tanks are very versatile and strong on their own, kit-wise. And for the second tank on our list, it's going to be D.va, and I'll give D.va a solid B tier. And the reason why is that comparing D.va to Zarya, like, of course, when being that role of the off-tank, of the enabler, Zarya has much more synergy, like more direct synergy with Queen, which I'll get to later on the list. Like, comparing D.va to Zarya, D.va, the only thing D.va can do to enable Queen is just DM, and the DM lasts only for 2 seconds. And you know, Queen can give shout for D.va, like to chase targets that probably run away when the fight is over. But also, these 2 tanks, like, they aren't supposed to be playing on the front line, despite Queen being the main tank here, because Queen is pretty weak against other main tanks. Like, of course, if you wanna force Queen into being the main tank, but also D.va doesn't fit into the main tank role, if you know what I mean. Let's say if there is a Reinhardt on the enemy teams, that means that basically both D.va and JunkerQueen need to play outside of the Rein's range, so they basically need to always walk around, like, try to find opportunities to find a kill, and you know, that's pretty fun, honestly. I like this kind of playstyle, but you know, if you wanna force JunkerQueen to the front line, like, you must need a lot of healing from your supports, and yeah, that's probably it. Like, I haven't played that much with a D.va, so I don't have that constructive of an opinion about this comp. It's just I thought, but when I played a couple of games with a D.va as a JunkerQueen, I just felt like, yeah, that's pretty alright. Like, nothing game changing, just two decent tanks on the same team. Another tank on our list is Doomfist, and okay, I'm gonna be a lot biased here, because I give Doomfist an I am a minus, and I prepared this tier specifically, mostly for Doomfist, but also for the other tank comps that I'll discuss later. Like, A minus is a tier that I believe, like the tanks on this list, and now that I'm discussing Doom, they can be very strong with Queen. They can be very strong. Like, the options you have in this tank comp is I believe, like, is massive. Like, you can do so much, you can get so much value. And in case of Doom and Queen, it's mostly because of how both of these characters, like, they just do AoE damage, like Queen with her axe, Doom with his punch, with his slam. Like, Doom is also arguably one of the, like, best synergies for Queen if you're thinking about using your ult deep into the backline, or using for rollouts, which I'll also show you later. And yeah, these tanks, like, there isn't really a main tank and an off tank. Like, Doom and Queen need to play like side by side, almost side by side, because of course Doom is more of a diver and Queen is more of a brawler, but they can, like, if you plan your engages with a Doomfist on JunkerQueen, you can get so much value, you can get so much damage, and obviously more AoE damage. I've had situations where I had a Doomfist that went on a flank, like, I was playing slow on the front line, playing around corners, etc. And I had my Doomfist flank around. Then he leaped behind their team, he used his punch, and he punched like 3 people straight into my face, and I used my axe and killed everyone. The moment when this happened, I thought like, nah, there is no way that this comp can be very strong. And you know, that's why the A- tier is, because it's pretty difficult, because we have 2 very squishy tanks who have very little, like, utility for their team. They're basically just 2 glorified DPSs who not only are just DPSs by design, but they're also very difficult to play. Doom has an unimaginable skill floor and skill ceiling. Queen has also a high skill floor, as most people say. So obviously, if you're an average player and you wanna try out Doom and Queen, like, it's not a very good idea. But if you get an actual Queen and a Doomfist player on one team, just don't be afraid to run Doom and Queen, because I think there is a potential for them to be very strong. Also one side note, I've had also some situations where I could just toss people around with Doomfist. Doom would have punched someone, forced one of their defensive cooldowns, and then I would knife him back into my team for an easy kill. For example, Zarya, like in this clip that you see. Oh, and yeah, I forgot to mention, Queen can obviously use Shroud for Doom's engages, and since Doom already generates overhealth from his own passive, like, the Queen Shot definitely enables him to get even more of that overhealth, so that he can sustain longer in the teamfight. So yeah, that's also, you know, the shot isn't that impactful, but it always helps a lot with the speed boost and the 50 HP that you give to your teammates. Okay, so the next tank on our list is Mauga. Okay, and I've been thinking about it, and I don't know, honestly. Initially, I was about to put Mauga in A tier, but then I had some Maugas, and we did pretty badly, so I was about to dump him into B tier, and then I had another Mauga players where I succeeded with in matches, and I think that A- is now, like, the perfect middle ground for that, because, you know, similarly to Doom, you just have 2 glorified DPSs, so you need to, like, maximize the value of the damage you create. You don't have that much utility or protection for yourself or your teammates. But you know, it's 2 shouts is better than nothing. I would say that Queen Mauga is probably the strongest anti-dive death ball duo, like, in terms of, you know, Queen having the shout, Queen having the knife, and of course Queen having a lot of burst damage up close. Same with Mauga, like the cardiac overdrive giving you lifesteal and damage reduction. It's also very OP. Like probably the strong, like if the enemy team is running, I don't know, a Dome Winston or basically any comp with a Winston, like the JunkerQueen and Mauga, and even if that Winston has a D.Va, like she can't use her DM for both your you know, Queen shots and Gracie, and for Mauga's cardiac overdrive. Unless you really play next to each other and you're dumping all of your cooldowns at the same time, but I'm not talking about that. Yeah, there's also this nice combo that you can do with Queen and Mauga. Like, let's say Queen is playing like taking a small off angle, like she's knifing someone, and then when she pulls them into her team, the Mauga can use that as an opportunity to hit a crit with his charge, which of course gives the enemy team a stun. Mauga gets overhealth, and of course you get damage, and you have the opportunity to kill a target easily. I've also seen that Queen Mauga isn't really that strong on payload maps, but you can really steamroll lobbies on push maps, which I guess is also a nice note. And yeah, and more about the downsides of this comp is that since Mauga with the lower amount of health in 6v6, he might need more protection from the second tank to help him sustain, because the 3-second cardiac isn't enough. Seriously, trust me. I think Mauga could work pretty well with Queen. You just need more practice, and you need to be more aware of your surroundings and your weaknesses. Okay, so another tank on the list, and it's Orisa, and I give her a B tier. And you know, my issue number one with Orisa is that I haven't played a lot of games with Orisa. Like, I've only played like what, 5 or 6 matches with an Orisa, and then 4 of them the Orisa decided to swap to another tank. I don't remember which, but I just remember that the Orisa swapped. So I don't have that much experience with Orisa. Like, the only thing that I can obviously agree on is the combo that when Orisa uses her ult inside of the entire team, she pulls everyone in, and it gives Queen a huge opportunity to hit her ult and, I don't know, anti-6 people, and then the Orisa finishes them all off with that damage. Obviously this ult combo is very strong, but outside of that, I don't think that Orisa and Queen have that much synergy outside of like both fitting the Brawl playstyle. Like, Orisa's identity is just being an anti-tank. Like, she's just being there to bully the other tank, and Queen doesn't really add to that, because of course she's more of an anti-dive, but she's not an anti-tank tank. Like, obviously, if enemy team has a Wrecking Ball or a Roadhog or a Doomfist, like the Queen Orisa is probably one of your strongest options if you just wanna bully this Doom Ball or a Hog, because, you know, Orisa throws a spear at them, and after that the Queen can just knife them and pull them back in, and Orisa can bully them more because she's closer, and she can use the spin to bully them even more. So, you know, you get that, but outside of that, really, I don't see that much synergies. Like, it's similar to how Hazard functions with Queen. It's not that this combo is strong because they have synergy. It's more like it is decent because the characters are good on their own. And the difference between Orisa and Hazard is that Hazard actually has that proactivity that he needs to engage, and for that Queen enables him with her shout, or to pressure someone with a Gracie and pulling them in. That's always a good opening for the second tank to follow up. And yeah, I think I'm finished with Orisa. Okay, let's move to Ramattra, and Ramattra is our first S tier tank. And some of you may ask why. I think Ramattra is the second best tank. Of course, we'll discuss the first, but the best tank duo for JunkerQueen later. But for now, it's Ramattra. I think that Ram Queen is probably the best anti-shield comp. Like, let's say the enemy team plays Rein Sigma. Queen gives shout to Ram, Ram pops his Nemesis, and both go in. Perfect cleave, axe plus pummel. Like, these shields are so useless. DM is also useless. Like, it's so strong. It's also not that similarly to Hazard, Queen isn't just like that type of an off tank that just sits there, gives shout, and lets the other tank do their things. Like, no, Queen both enables and goes in with Ram. That's what I mostly like about Queen in 6v6, is that she isn't really like she's both a main tank and an off tank at the same time. But okay, also getting back to the topic, there is so much things. Like, Queen enables Ram perfectly, because the thing that Ramattra struggles with most is dive comps, and dive basically ignoring him and his kit. Since Queen is a good anti-dive tank, like, they can basically stack on each other. Ramattra has also his shield, which also enables Queen for playing in more open maps, like, let's say Shambali or Havana. Like, that gives opportunity for Queen to actually play on that front line and focus more on landing Gracies. There are also some noise combos, like Ramattra using his vortex into the target that Queen pull with her knife, or vice versa. Like, when there's a target in the Ramattra's vortex, and then which basically makes the target an easy hit for JunkerQueen and her Gracie to pull back in. Also, when there are targets who are slowed by the Ramattra's vortex, Queen can easily go in with her shout and go for a carnage. And you know, if there are multiple people in that vortex, then Queen definitely gets her carnage back faster. In my opinion, very strong, very strong. Like, it's probably your safe pick. Like, if you wanted to play something with Queen that is viable, Ramattra is your probably best option. Okay, and for the next tank on our list, it's Reinhardt. And for Reinhardt, I'll give him an A-. Why A- and not, I don't know, A tier? Because, you know, on paper, Queen enables Rein with her shout. Like, Queen is basically a more DPS-ier version of Zarya. Like, only about the synergy with Rein. Like, Queen is just the DPS-ier version of Zarya. Like, Zarya's bubble has 200 HP, Queen gives 50 HP with her shout, so it's basically 1/4 of Zarya's bubble. But also the shout is AoE, and it gives that 50 HP to all of the JQ's teammates. So, you know, that is different. But specifically for Rein, the shout doesn't give him much, which, similarly to the situation with Mauga, if Rein struggles to survive, Rein might need more protection, like as I said, from a Zarya or a D.va, or I don't know, maybe any other tank. Sigma might be also very good with Rein in the brawl scenario, but I'm not talking about that. We're talking about JunkerQueen. So yeah, sustain-wise, it has its downsides, but also Rein with Queen, they deal so much damage up close with Rein's hammer and Queen's axe. Like, I've had this clip where I'm playing Rein Queen into Rein Zarya, and I'm basically forcing Zarya's bubbles immediately with my Gracie, and then my Rein and I just go straight into the enemy Rein and just fucking Thanos snap, and the Rein's gone, because we dealt so much damage with the hammer and the axe that the enemy supports couldn't even react to healing the Rein. So yeah, it's pretty strong up close. I found myself having like the most fun and the most value with a Reinhardt when we are playing specifically on New Queen Street. And you know, that might be just that this comp is pretty strong on push, because you know, you need to play close to the point, and if you force enemy to play close to the point, they're playing close to you. And Ryan and Queen up close deal a lot of damage because of the axe and the hammer that I just talked about. And you know, that fits pretty well, but I didn't see that much success with Ryan and Queen on, like, I don't know, flashpoints or different maps. I mean, of course, I've won some games, but I can't really recall them. I don't really remember them. I just know that I've played some matches with Ryan on multiple different maps and we won, but it didn't feel any special. Like, let's say, I think the matches would be more dynamic and more fun if I played with a tank just as aggressive as I am. Like, for example, like with Hazard and the Doomfist, like, it's basically my own bias. I just like when both me and the second tank are playing hyper aggressive, and I just didn't get those Rhine one-tricks who are just pinning 24/7. Maybe if I played with a dive Reinhardt, I would have much more fun. Okay, so the next tank on our list is Roadhog, and I'll give Roadhog a beat here. And there isn't much synergy with Roadhog. Like, of course, it's a like, let's say that Roadhog is like a synergistic version of Queen Orisa, like the anti-tank character in this comp, but Queen actually enables him in taking that role, because when Hog hooks somebody in, you, as a JunkerQueen, can noise that target and pull him even deeper into your team, which is, you know, it's pretty fun on your side, but on the side of the enemy tank, like, he might just wanna uninstall after that death. You know what I mean? And it's pretty stupid. Like, another synergy that I see with JunkerQueen and Roadhog is that when your Roadhog isn't the flanking playstyle, like, he's basically playing like the tank Roadhog of 5v5, or basically like a true off tank, and you two play on the front line. You can give shout for Roadhog when he uses his hook, so that he can close the distance to his target quicker, to you know, connect more pellets to the enemy's head and basically do the one shot more efficiently. And also you can give Roadhog the shout to give him the speed while he's using an aggressive whole hog. This sounds very stupid, but I've found myself actually getting value out of it. You know, I'm talking about all of these free combos, and I still put Hog in B tier. The reason why is that both of these tanks, like, are pretty weak alongside each other. Roadhog needs the other tank to do their own thing if he wants to do his own thing, which is, you know, going on flanks, or basically just finding opportunities to land one shots. And Queen either requires the other tank to just exist, or just to enable Queen. That makes this kind of anti-synergistic, if you know what I mean. You can find yourself getting value. I did, and I had tons of fun with a Roadhog. Like, fun-wise, I'll probably move Hog to high B tier. This combo is just very weak. Like, anti-nade fucks them both up. Oh yeah, I didn't cover this with Mauga. Like, Ana's anti-nade, or like when enemy plays JunkerQueen and she flanks her out, like, it basically fucks you two up. Like, both with Mauga and the Roadhog, but I still think that Mauga is at least A-, because Mauga actually plays in that brawly playstyle with Queen, with that more like, not even brawl, but more like rush. Queen actually when Queen plays alongside Mauga, they actually get value, but when Queen plays around Roadhog, you sometimes just leave your entire team behind, because you just wanna capitalize on that single kills that you wanna get together. So yeah, that's it for Roadhog. For another tank on our list, it's Sigma, and Sadly for Sigma, I'll give him a C here. I mean, this might move higher. It might actually be a B tier combo, like Sigma Queen, but most of the reasons why Sigma is C is because Ramattra exists. Because Ramattra is not like he's the poke brawl hybrid, yeah, and Queen enables Ram by giving him more of that brawl, and also enables him by having that anti-dive playstyle. So that enables Ram perfectly. And you know, JunkerQueen being an anti-dive tank also enables Sigma, because Sigma also struggles against dive, but Sigma doesn't really have that strong brawl. Of course, we've had brawl comps with Sigma, like back in 6v6 you could play Sigma with a Reinhardt in a brawl composition, but it's a Reinhardt, not a JunkerQueen. Reinhardt has his own tankiness, like it's similar to D.va, like JunkerQueen is supposed to be the main tank here, but she doesn't have the tankiness to actually be on that front line. Like, Sigma is forced to be on that front line and give Queen the protection, but Queen doesn't have that tankiness on her own, and you know, it basically leaves Queen just being that anti-dive babysitter for Sigma or your backline, and just focus on your Gracies, which, you know, it might be pretty decent on maps like Circuit Royale or I don't know, Paraíso Defense. You need to be sure you're going to land those Gracies. And don't get me wrong, pulling a Gracie in for Sigma to follow up with his primary fire or his rock is basically a free kill. And that's the only reason why Sigma is C tier and not like a D or an F tier. And to be honest, there is no D or an F tier for those tank combos, because I think that C tier is like, yeah, it's not really that good compared to the other tanks, but you can still get value. B tier is more like, yeah, this is a pretty decent combo, like it has its weaknesses, but you can definitely find some use for them. A minus is like, this comp can be really strong, but you need to, but only at the right circumstances, or when like both tanks are playing their characters at their ceiling. A tier is basically your safe ground, like these combos have tons of uses, like you can pretty much get away with them most of the time, no matter what is the map or what your team composition is. S tier basically means that it's the best combo of all time. You can run it on any map or on almost any map, and that the synergy is very strong between those tanks. Okay, back to the video, because I'm not just yapping about stuff. Next tank on our list, Winton. And Winton is a B tier. And same with Reinhardt, like compare Queen to like a Zarya and a D.va when you're playing with a Winston. Like that shout, that 50 HP that you give from shout to the Winston isn't really that beneficial for the Winston, since you could have just have a D.va fly in with him and give him the DM, or you could just get a Zarya bubble for 200 HP and Zarya gets all of the charge. But giving shot to Winston isn't really that bad. It definitely gives him more time to actually fight before he uses his bubble. I can imagine Queen being strong with a Winston when you're playing like something like, I don't know, because most of the dive compositions consists of the backline of like Ana, Brig, and probably a hitscan DPS or whatever, or it's only the Ana and Brig. And why is Brig there? It's basically she's there just to babysit the Ana from the enemy divers. And I thought to myself, Queen is a very strong anti-dive, and she also has a rally on cooldown, which is her shout. And you know, Queen might actually fill into that, and the second support that would have played Brig would just go something like Kiri and go in, dive, and support the front line with the rest of the team. Like you're playing something like Queen, Winston, Anakiri, Genji Sojourn, or Genji whatever, like whatever dive heroes, you know what I mean? And Queen can fill into that anti-dive babysitter for Ana. And I'm no pro player, I don't know if that would be actually competitively viable, but I think that could be an option, at least for most of the ranks, if you really wanna force Queen into Winston. And it would be still a very dynamic comp, because the shout would give the entire team the 3 seconds of the speed boost and the 50 HP from shout. But yeah, outside of that situation, I can't see really that much direct synergy with Winston, so that's why he's in B tier. Okay, next tank on the list is Ball, and Ball gets. I initially wanted to give him an A-, but he's actually an A tier. Ball is a very versatile tank. There's, as far as I know, like, there's no single tank that Ball is bad with. Ball is, of course, that main initiator. He's soaking up all of the enemy cooldowns. He's making a lot of distraction, and that always gives the other tank the opportunity to do their own thing. When Ball distracts the backline, Queen can take that as an opportunity for her to actually take the front line, play in that front line. Like, she can also give shout for Ball to engage and that overhealth, similarly to Doomfist. Like, Ball is basically a tankier version of Doomfist, and probably the only difference between Ball and Doomfist is that, of course, Ball is more tanky. Ball has more like consistent movement. Doom has more burst movement. Of course, there's similarly to Doom. Just like I said, there's lots of chaos, lots of AoE damage. PD is a good enabler for Queen to go in, to land a Grey Sea. Queen can also knife someone, pull them in, and it gives Ball a better opportunity to finish them off with his PD and his damage that he does. Ball is also Balso is also one of the best tanks if you're playing a hyper aggressive JunkerQueen and you're going deep into the backline with your ult. I've also got this funny clip on where I did the rollout. I mean, if you guys have seen my new rollout montage, then you know what I'm talking about. But I'll show this clip again. Like, I did this rollout and I basically coordinated a perfect engage on the enemy Zen with my Ball, and I think that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. You can't say that this comp is like at least mid if you can pull off something like this while playing this tank duo. Like, I don't know, the potential is still there. Oh, and also, there's another funny thing that you can do with JunkerQueen and Ball. When Ball uses his mines, Queen can simply just pull someone in with his knife, with her knife. Oh, sorry, I'm misgendering people because I'm talking before I'm thinking. Like, you can see, like in these clips, like I'm all of those 3 clips are Roadhog, which is even funnier. But like, it's so silly. Like, you can knife someone and they don't, and if they do not expect that, you can basically you can basically insta kill them by pulling them into Ball's mines. I think that's pretty cool. And for our last tank on this list is Zarya, and I feel like Zarya is easy as like, it's the best. It's the best of the best. Of course, comparing Zarya to Ramattra, if you wanna play with JunkerQueen, obviously Zarya Queen is obviously more squishy. You don't have that much more resources to like sustain yourself on the front line, and this comp definitely struggles more on the open space than like compared to Queen Ram, Queen Rein, and I don't know, maybe even Queen Hazard. But I think that the direct synergy is so strong that I don't even care. The Queen Zarya, I mean, this is gonna be a hot take, but I think that Queen Zarya is probably the strongest Zarya synergy. Like, it's even stronger than Rein Zarya. I mean, I said it. I think that Queen Zarya is probably the strongest synergy for Zarya and the Queen. Whatever Queen does, when Zarya bubbles the Queen, she basically gets a billion charge. Like, Queen picks a corner to knife someone in, and then they pull them in. They're gonna shoot the queen back. So the Zarya gives bubble to the queen. The bubble explodes. Queen gets a kill, or she just gets the damage. And since the bubble gave enough time for queen to react, she basically hides back in behind the cover, and she's good. Zarya has a billion charge instantly. Queen goes in around the corner for a greedy carnage to hit like, I don't know, 2, 3, I don't know, just to hit one person. Zarya bubbles it. She gets a billion charge. Queen gets the damage. Queen gets the ult charge. Queen gets the healing. Let's not forget that the bubble also cleanses Queen. So if Queen gets antied, Zarya can just bubble her, and she gets she can go back to fighting, to inflicting those wounds, and keep healing and healing and healing. And let's not forget, Queen has her shout, and when Zarya has a 100 energy, you can give shout to the Zarya, and she's now the main tank. Now she can go in and melt people down. Like, it's so strong. And let's not forget about the Zarya's grab. When Zarya grabs everyone into it, Queen, if Zarya grabs 4 people or more, Queen just swings her axe over and over and over and over. It's basically a free team fight. Like, it's so ridiculous. And if you can't, and you know, if you can't find the opportunity to hit an axe because, I don't know, you used it earlier, or you know, you can because the Zarya can't give you the bubble, you can ult into that and anti-6 people that are still stuck in the grab and still kill them. Like, it's insane. It's insane. I think I found myself getting the most amount of fun and value while playing this comp, specifically on New Junk City. But I think that I've played some matches with a friend who's a Ball and Zarya main. He's basically a 2-trick, and whenever Ball doesn't work, he just swaps to Zarya, and he even swapped once on Circuit Royale, and for some reason we won that. Like, we just swapped on fucking Circuit Royale attack. I was obviously forcing Queen because I'm a 1-trick, and he swapped from Ball to Zarya, and we fucking rolled them. And they played like, I don't know, Sigma Hog or Sigma Mauga or something like that. Widow Zen and the rest of the enemy team I can't remember. And we rolled them over because this synergy is so strong. Like, JunkerQueen with Zarya's bubble is basically JunkerQueen in 5v5. She, like, basically when Zarya gives bubble to the Queen, she's a super tank, and I think that's insane. Like, this synergy is so strong. Of course, it's a bit difficult because you have 2 very squishy tanks with very limited range. The synergy they have is so strong that I think you could get away with that. I think that my excitement while talking about this specific combo should give you enough validation for how this duo is an S tier. I mean, obviously there might be some things that I might have missed on while discussing this list. I didn't really write a script for this video because I really wanted this video to be more of my raw thoughts instead of me just staring into a screen and just reading what I typed beforehand. If I stutter sometimes, I made some, I don't know, spelling mistakes or articulation mistakes. I'm sorry, guys. It's the first tier list I'm making. You know, I'm really excited about playing this mod further. Like, it's a new year, and 6v6 is still here for a week or so. I wanna play this 6v6 mode as much as possible because I'm afraid it won't go back, and it's so freaking fun. Oh, that's the end of this video. Bye bye, guys.